My name is John Agasild. I'm a stand-up comedian living in Glasgow in Scotland. But I haven't always lived here. I was born and raised in Aberdeen in the northeast. I'm working on my next solo stand-up show, and I found myself writing and talking a lot about both of these cities. So I wanted to interview some other comedians about their hometowns, find out what they're like, why they left, why they stayed, and what home means to them. This is the Welcome Home podcast. Okay, so my first question that I have, because I'm using this, trying to use this as a writing tool, is how do you write? And I think I could answer this question for myself. But
go on then. You answer it for me.
Well, I see bits of it. Well, I see bits of the
we write together sometimes.
Writing process of meeting you, but yeah, how do you write, and how do you literally write?
How do you literally write?
Yeah.
How do you write, and how do you literally write?
Yeah. Is it with pen and paper or a laptop? And I think I know this. I know historically of different attempts.
There's
different
been
methods.
different eras. Yeah. Normally, it would just be walking down the street and a thought pops into my head. I jot it down immediately in the notes app. I use the app Bear.
Okay. Never heard of it.
I don't know why I even use that one. I heard, it's like, 8 years ago you're Googling best note app, and then suddenly 8 years on you've got Bear, and like...
You're like,
they're all the
what
same.
would I do without it?
Yeah, couldn't live without it.
Do you think that's because of Evernote was an elephant and they were just trying to make a cheap animal?
Well, it was an Evernote girly. What happened to Evernote?
Dunno.
They screwed the pooch, man. I don't know what happened to them. They had the world at their feet, Evernote. I think they tried to make too many features or something.
Okay.
Had it. Yeah, anyway. It's almost funny to be like, that's boring, because like the whole thing's boring. Do you know what I mean?
Anyway, that's boring. Back to Bear.
Back to my other notes-taking app. Most of it is that, to be honest. Beyond that, I'll sometimes, I'm a big pen and paper guy. Got my notepads.
Can't beat it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the good old-fashioned British pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. In my notepads. I'm a Nepo baby. My dad used to work at a printing place. So I get...
paper?
He's not for a few years now. He got sacked, during COVID. But, he'd make, like, shitty... not shitty, to be fair to the guy. He'd make, like... when you go to, like, a museum or whatever and there's a gift shop and they sell notepads. So I would get the offcuts from the factory that were, like, not big sellers. So I've got, like, 8 Swan Lake notepads that I'm going through. And I look really sophisticated. I was like, Swan Lake? I was like, do not ask me a thing about Swan Lake, because I couldn't tell you. I had a Michael Jackson one post-cancellation.
Wow.
That kind of thing. So I got paper coming out my ass.
They didn't sell out of these?
I mean, the tunes are good, and the paper quality is good. It's mainly notes. Most of my bits, I'd say, come from just like, I'm just literally living my life, and a thought pops in, and I've sort of been doing this long enough now to know when... I need to write that down, otherwise I'll forget it. Yeah. Or if, like, we're always laughing about this together, if, like, because it's, we're talking, November, when you've, after the Fringe, and you've kind of burnt everything and you're desperate for new bits. Every year there's, like, bits that crop up and come to the surface for a while, look hopeful, and then they die off again. Yeah. So every year starts again with the same, like, 8 bits that I've had for 8 years that have not worked.
But they serve a great purpose.
They do. They're sort of stabilizers.
The list of bullet points starts with that.
Mum clock oven.
Yeah,
that
and
kind
then
of thing.
To build around the other stuff.
Yeah, and there's bits in this last show that just didn't make the one before it, and there'll be bits in the next show that just didn't make this one, and they're not lesser bits. You worry that they are just B-sides that you're releasing into the wild now, but. I don't know. I feel like if I just keep thinking about stuff, then there must be something in it. Otherwise, why am I bothering to think about that stuff? I do all kinds of shit though. I always record gigs. I try and listen back when it's not too painful.
You voice noted me about something really funny.
I've tried that on stage now. That kind of works.
Did it go? How did it?
The Olympics thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of works. I used your line actually.
The summer.
Loads of my lines are yours.
Loads of your lines that don't make the show then.
Loads of them are yours, yeah, certainly. We really make each other laugh in Waterstones Cafe.
Yes.
I've tried everything through the years. I'm throwing stationery at the problem. Corkboards. especially when I'm writing a show, post-it notes, corkboards,
Yeah.
structure.
Get it big. It's a big show.
Blow it up. Yeah, typewriter. I've not used that for a while, but I was quite prolific on the typewriter for a while. That was
That's
a
good.
birthday gift to me a few years ago. Which is satisfying, actually. I do like it. But now I'm going to move flat, and you're looking at that going, fucking hell. That could be an eBay job.
Ollie, you've been such a great flatmate. I was wondering how I could repay you.
I know I know you've always made flirty eyes at the typewriter. No, just anything and nothing. And I go through phases of being quite regimented and sit at the desk and work. But honestly, I'm not joking. This entire year has been a write-off. I've not got on my. It's the end of November, and it's just like this year didn't happen. I've not written a word. I've never sat at my desk this year. Fuck knows how I got a fringe out of it.
Wow, that's good.
But I'm gonna try next year.
Annoying to not be able to be like, what did I do to improve upon that? You know what I mean? To
No,
be
sorry.
like, well, what did I do, and how do I do that again
What did I
next year
do?
to get
Nothing.
the show again? Yeah,
Yeah.
I did nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today I wrote nothing. To
Well,
quote
I need
Billy
to just
Woods.
do a bit more than nothing next year.
I know. Yeah.
But you
But
did.
then, I'll meet people like you. We'll go for coffee. We'll throw ideas together, chat them out, give each other tags,
Yeah.
or just bits that are in. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
So the stuff just magically generates, but
Mhm.
it's kind of mysterious to me
Mhm.
still.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's great fun though.
Tell you
It's
what,
the
though,
most fun.
it
It's
is the
most-
best, isn't it? I
it's
just
the
love.
most fun.
I love meeting up and having
It's
coffee,
the
and then
most
we
fun,
ask each
yeah.
other how our girlfriends are for 30 seconds, and then just start doing bits.
And then yeah, it's the most fun because they're all. It's like that. Anne Patchett essay that I told you to read, where it's just
The
like
getaway car.
yes, which I've
Fantastic.
recommended to other people.
I
That it's
recommend
just
that
like
now.
it's so good just because it's not about writing advice or anything. It's just empathetic to the process of writing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, as soon as you write something down, it's like yeah, you're killing
it in your hands.
from
The butterfly thing.
Yeah, the butterfly thing. Yeah, in the cafe, in the Waterstones cafe, it kills.
Yeah.
And it's
Some bits are just for the cafe.
for the cafe. Yes,
And you learn that
they're
the hard
about
way,
the
don't
cafe. So they don't work anywhere
yeah,
else.
you have to be Waterstones Cafe for that
Yeah,
to be funny.
yeah. So yeah, not a complicated answer.
No,
Not a
it's-
complicated question. Not a complicated
I'm
answer.
not a complicated man.
And that's fine to be honest. But it's just interesting. The other people have had different answers, and
Last
it's-
note, callback. She was talking to the dog. That is an idea for. I thought I could call back to that later in the show, but the actual bit doesn't even work. So that's never happening. Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Oh, because I
Yeah.
told you that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes we'll just text you.
Yes.
Sometimes you and my notes app actually. That didn't work, but they were a dog shit crowd though. So much
Right,
I don't
okay.
believe them. I'm gonna try
Yeah.
again.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. I mean, I had a bit of. Never mind. Yeah. Sometimes when I'm trying out a bit, it'll end like that.
Yeah,
Never.
often.
And you know what? Never mind.
You know what? Forget it. You never want to be on stage doing that.
Forget it.
Bailing on a bit halfway through.
But your bits also seem to come out quite fully formed. When you messaged me that Olympics bit, and then I'm like, do I just say that's great, or do I open up the hood and I start tinkering with it, and then I and make it longer, and there's needless tangents and stuff
I
like
like
that.
that about your stuff.
But but they seem
No,
to be
they do,
very
which
fully
are-
formed, and that's just because you're just getting better and better. I think,
I think it is a bit.
or you
a
know
bit
what the
that.
first.
I'm better at knowing what my voice is now
Uh-huh.
from having done it. I'm sick of my voice now. I wish I could do something else.
And you know what the first bit of it sounds like.
Yeah,
But
you're like,
then
that
what-
sounds like something I would say.
What annoys me about my bit when my bits don't work, what I can't make sense of is when it sounds fully formed, but then sometimes it sounds too fully formed,
Like too crafted.
too crafted, and you're like, this is gonna be great, and then you try it out, and you're like, none.
Yeah, you
This
know when you've got
didn't
like an
work.
idea for like quite an intricate like 5-minute routine
Mhm.
and it's gonna come round again
Uh-huh.
and dovetail, but you're like 40 seconds in, you're like, I've not had a laugh yet. They hate this. They're not even getting to the bits that are good. This is you know what? Forget it.
Yeah, exactly.
um,
Yeah.
I think they are actually quite fully formed, which is a blessing and a curse, really, because I think that comes from not being willing to do the hard work of making stuff. If stuff doesn't work pretty quickly for me, I'll just go, fuck that. I'll just do
Yeah.
something else.
And just knowing what stand-up sounds like
Yeah.
as well. And if there is there is sometimes a thing of, sometimes I think, I'm like, am I talking about what I want to talk about, or is what I want to talk about different than when I started, or does it, when I started and when I thought I was just, you know, the perfect, like, I was just all conviction, no skill.
That's a good name for a show.
That everything I wanted to talk about, I was talking about. Did I have any experience or knowledge of it?
Absolutely
No.
not.
Did I have any skill to deliver it?
Did you have any
No.
license to
No.
No,
No.
wouldn't have thought so.
But now I'm just like, I think I'm able to try and talk about this, and I know how to shape the bit a lot quicker than I would have before. And you just yeah, I don't quite know what my point is really, but
But it's a gradual process of just like, I don't know, like you rounding off the edges
Yeah.
or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
eventually it is quicker, isn't it?
yeah. So, where were you born?
Thought you'd never ask. I was born in Kirkcaldy, the Langton.
I love stuff like
Was
that.
it called Forth Park Hospital? I want to say it was called.
Okay.
No longer with us, sadly.
That's a shame.
Pour one out.
You know, every guest so far has been able to name their hospital.
I think Forth Park, but gun to the head. I'm not certain. I think it was called Forth Park Hospital in Kirkcaldy. Yeah. Remember having a piss up the side of it when I was about 17, drunk. That's the last time I saw it.
Back again.
Yeah, remember me? Just
Last time he was here, he had his cock out pissing everywhere as well.
not developed much, this lad. Yeah, it's gone now. Rip to a real one.
And Kirkcaldy is a town,
Big time.
big town.
Big time, I said, is it?
Big time.
You're correct. It's not. It's kind of a big town,
Right.
I guess.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm actually from Burnt Island. That's where I grew up. I was born. There's not a hospital in Burnt Island,
Okay.
and
Okay.
it wasn't a home birth.
Right. Where were you born? At home. Yeah. I
I never know how to
knew-
answer that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I do know.
I was
people
born in
who
Kirkcaldy, but they immediately drove me
made
to
in
Burnt
Burntisland.
Island.
Yeah.
In the Navy in
Yeah.
Burnt Island. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's another thing about that's a
On my passport it says Kirkcaldy.
right. Okay. That I remember sort of doing some job to do with sort of like health and social care, and being like a place, hearing about like a small place that didn't have a hospital, and I was like, oh my god, they need to build a hospital. You know?
They got sick people there.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of a bit like that. Like,
Yeah.
why haven't these poor people got a hospital? This
Yeah.
is the developed world, and you're just like, no, they could just go to the
They go
next.
to the nearest
They
hospital. is
go
what
to
you
the
do.
nearest hospital, which is
It's
fair.
outrageous how close we are to a hospital currently, by the way. We're in the blast zone of a hospital right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, the helicopters sometimes you can hear them. So
In
so
the Kingdom of Fife.
in the Kingdom of
That's where
Fife.
I was forged.
So what I'm just basically just trying to ask you what these
What is
places
it like there?
what's it
Have you
like
been?
what's it like there?
You must have gigged in Kirkcaldy.
I have gigged.
The King's Theatre. The real King's Theatre.
I haven't gigged
None of this
at
Glasgow
the
shite.
Kings in Kirkcaldy. I've gigged in
I'm going to start spreading the rumour that Mark filmed his special at the King's Theatre in Kirkcaldy.
the Kings.
The little cafe tent thing. The promenade.
I've done. Where's Carnegie Hall?
Dunfermline.
That's Dunfermline.
/ New York, I believe, is it?
Yeah, yeah. I was confusing that with somewhere else. But so so you were born in Kirkcaldy and then exiled to Burnt Island. So what's Burnt Island like? What's the name about?
Well, yeah, that is
Because it's
always
one
a
where you look
subject
at
of
it and you're
debate.
like, that can't.
Can it be right?
That can't be right.
Can it be right?
Yeah.
Well,
It's fun to
it
be-
isn't an island, first of all. It's on the east coast of Fife. We're East
Mhm.
Coast boys. We've got to stick together.
Mm-hmm.
We're living in a West Coast world.
Yeah.
And it's not burnt either. But I think it's probably because there's a volcano at the back of the town,
Right. Okay.
the Ben Hill. So our house is sort of on the flat bit of where the volcanic ash would have come down.
Uh-huh. The
So I
floor is
imagine-
lava.
Yeah, you better believe it. Now dormant, of course. Goes without saying.
You could be an estate agent. There's a volcano at the
Yeah.
top of the hill.
Nothing
Now
to worry
dormant.
about. Long dormant.
Status dormant.
Yeah, currently dormant. But we never thought Robbie would rejoin to that. You never know what's possible. So I imagine it's because of that. I can't really. I mean, it'll be on the Wikipedia.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not something anyone's talking about there. But when you say you're from Burntisland,
Yeah.
then then you get into those discussions, don't you? But and I've never got an answer for it really. But it's a small seaside town. I'm gonna guess 6,000 people.
Right.
Rising though, it's kind of having a bit of a moment at the minute.
The Margate of Fife.
That's what they're saying. But it's kind of one of those places where like you'd always hear like Glaswegians would come on the holidays there in like the 50s or whatever. But then when I was growing up, it's just it's just like a fuck, you can just hear seagulls and it's freezing and no one's there,
Yeah.
and it was just like on its arse. But in the last few years, I think COVID was like a bit of a game changer. Where like I don't know why, but like maybe like the British holidays thing, people weren't going away, and like it's just places are being bought up. This like the high street was totally shite
Mm-hmm.
when I was a kid and a teenager. And now there's a lot of shite anyway. But
Yeah.
now it's got like a lovely like bakery, nice like a really nice like cafe, nice ice cream shop, like fishmongers, blah blah, amazing butcher, like loads of independent shops, and it's
Mhm.
like kind of flourishing now,
Yeah.
and people are coming back, I think. Whereas like it was kind of like faded seaside glamour when I
Mhm.
was not even glamour, like because it's not, beyond having a chippy and an ice cream and pubs and stuff. It
But
wasn't
that used to be enough.
used to be enough. In
That
this
used to be
country
enough for some people.
before Ryanair.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's the cover of like, well, there's probably a cover of another. It's the cover of Listen Without Prejudice, the George Michael album, when it's just like the whole cover is just people on the beach, like people on a British beach, and it's just you can't see sand for people. And there's another like, who's like a Scottish band, and they had like an album cover or something like that. Did it like live in Glasgow or something with like an orchestral accompaniment or something? Can't remember.
Text us in.
I just remember seeing the poster in the subway loads. But those sort of pictures of like just beaches packed.
Yeah, I never ever saw the beach packed. When I was
But you see loads of photos.
No, never ever.
like that.
But now it's a bit more like that. People are coming again, and like
Uh-huh.
I think you'll see people sunbathing in the summer, which is just something I never ever saw in the first 20 years I lived there. But yeah, no, it's like perfectly nice. My mum and dad have got a nice house, live near the near the front of the town, and you can kind of see it it's on the back of the Mary, the £10 note.
Is it?
If you've got a tenner on you. Mary Somerville lived in Burntisland, the famous
Who's she?
scientist.
Okay, because I was going to say anybody famous from Burn
Me and
Island?
her, mainly.
What
No,
is-
I'm on
what-
the fiver.
What's her gear like?
I'm one of the two otters on the back of the tenner. There's a picture of Mary Somerville, and then you can see the beach, and then behind it, you can kind of, if you squint, you can see my mum and dad's house, which is
Right.
kind of crazy to see on a legal tender.
Wow. What did she do? Do you know? Science.
Specifically, I don't know. Science
Specifically.
is the umbrella
Uh-huh.
within which
We don't
she
even
worked.
know if it's physics, chemistry, or biology.
No, I didn't do well enough at school to know that, I'm afraid. Somerville Square, that's named after her,
Right, okay.
which is in the town.
We can just assume that it's Petri dish stuff.
Yeah,
Back-
she's no stranger
back-
to a
back
boonce
then.
in Old Mary, I would imagine.
Yeah.
The founder of Arsenal Football Club is from Burntisland. There's a blue plaque, which is actually on Somerville Square, or at least next to it. You look up, it's the only
Uh-huh.
blue black in the town.
Yeah.
It draws the eye. It says the cunt who invented Arsenal is
Yeah.
from here. Can't remember his name. But there's like an Arsenal badge. But it's quite funny because it's like Arsenal have changed their badge. And it's like a sort of in-between badge that they had 20 years ago. which is on the plaque. At least that's how I'm picturing
Well, that's
it.
when the plaque was put there.
Yeah, so it must have been, I reckon, the year 2000 they put that plaque up.
Right. Okay.
It's very Des Lynam Premiership, which isn't a reference for you to enjoy, really.
No, it's not.
Who else? I mean, I think that's it, really. You know, it's a small town. There's not many notable alumni.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said. I don't think so.
And did you go to school in the town?
I went to primary school in the town, and then I went to high school at Balweary High School in Kirkcaldy. Back on my bullshit.
Yeah.
Back to Kirkcaldy. Whenever I needed to go to school, be born, or to go to HMV,
Yeah.
I'd go to Kirkcaldy. Also, in terms of, like, I guess there's a little bit of history. Alexander III fell off his horse and died on the road between Burntisland and Kinghorn, which is the next village, which is between Burntisland and Kirkcaldy.
He's on the way to the hospital.
It's on, yeah, well, that's where he's going, I think.
That's where he fucking going.
Yeah, sadly didn't make it. But there's a monument on the road.
The monuments of him on the horse, I hope.
No, it's just like a cross. But for years it transpired my uncle, my mum's brother, thought he got hit by a bus. Which is class, isn't it? Because it's like on the road, it does look like he was involved in a traffic accident, but he fell off a cliff on his horse. Also, we've got a castle, Ross End Castle, but it doesn't really look like a castle.
What is it, like ruins?
It's offices now. Put it that way. And it's like in the council.
Hello, Ross End Castle.
Like, it's just like, you know, loads of council houses, and then there's like a castle in the middle. And
Okay.
it's, Mary Queen of Scots stayed there. I think just for the night. It's one of those Elvis and Prestwick situations, I think. I think she was maybe having an affair or something, and
It's one of those Elvis and Prestwick situations.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's how I remember it anyway. Like, no one
And
ever.
that is the best example of people and the best example of a person. You know, you don't get more famous than Elvis, and you
No.
don't get more obscure than Prestwick in this business.
It's a perfect 180, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember the story though. I think she got shagged in our castle, and it's now offices. That's that's what I know about it.
Who are you talking about? Mary
That's
Queen
your
of
friend of
Scots?
mine, Mary Queen of Scots.
Mary Queen of
I think so.
Scots.
Also, my ring here, only because I've got it on, is of the Black Rock, which is in the sea. I got this made for my 30th. My friend Gina,
Wow.
she's a talented jeweler.
That's
And,
very nice.
That's, you know, my mum and dad's, you know, if you look at the front room, you can see over to Edinburgh.
I really
It's
wish I had a
beautiful.
tenner now.
Yeah.
You could do it. Right, so here you orientate me.
Yeah, I
from
mean,
the
I'm
tenner.
bringing a lot of show and tell to proceedings, really. Bits in the sea between Burntisland and Kinghorn is this, you know, Black Rock, which when the tide's out, you can walk out to. They do a Black Rock race where you can run around it. It's like a 5k or whatever. And then, you know, you can see the bridges over to the right, and then Edinburgh and Arthur's Seat across the water. You know, it's beautiful, really.
Nice.
As if you know, I love being from the seaside, and
Yeah, same.
when I think about home, that's what I picture.
do
is that.
like to be beside the seaside.
I do
Yeah.
like to be beside the sea.
It is
certainly.
nice.
So, you know, it was really nice to grow up there, but there wasn't anything going on, you know.
Yeah.
My best friend growing up was called Ali. He lived kind of at the bottom of the road, around the corner. And beyond just playing PlayStation and football and everything, like all there was to do really was like we would literally just walk to the co-op to buy sweets. It's like a 6-minute walk.
Yeah.
We'd go via the beach to elongate it a bit,
Yeah.
but that's like literally all we did.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
There was
same.
nothing going on.
Well, to be fair, I did live in a city, but I lived in like the suburbs of a city, and I didn't go into. I was a late bloomer going into the city centre. Wise.
Why do you think that is?
When
you're taking your
I'm
first
not the
solo
stink
bus
bomb
ride.
type.
Not the stink bomb kid.
No. No.
I wasn't the stink bomb. type,
Yeah.
to be fair.
But I mean, you can do a stink bomb in whatever square it is, the square under the Arsenal blue plaque, if you want. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be next to a
Here's a
cathedral.
note I made in my Bay Rap recently. I ate a packet of fridge raiders on a train the other day, and I thought nature's stink bomb. Because it's sort of acceptable, isn't it? Like, you can't have a go at me for just eating a snack on the train, but it is poor form.
Yeah.
It's a shit thing to do. It's selfish. I just remembered another piece of history.
Yeah.
There's and I don't know why, like, we don't even ever talk about this in the town, and I'm like gonna write a film about this one day or something, but there was a ship sank.
You are or you aren't. Well, we'll see.
You know, I've written the outline years ago. A ship sank in the, not bay, but like in the Forth near Burntisland, and it was called The Blessing of Burntisland, and all the king's like gold and shit was on it. It's worth like 500 million quid, and it's just like in there.
That's mad, isn't it?
Mental. Like, and also like literally no one ever mentions it. I feel like, I don't know where I'm from, like no one ever talks about anything or like bigs himself up, or like there's barely any like information or plaques, or like I feel like if you went somewhere else that would be a big deal.
Yeah.
They'd have like a fucking
Tour.
exhibit about it.
Yes, an
They'd
exhibit.
have some stuff.
A tour. The tour ends on the beach looking out at the at the water.
But Burntisland, you just like, you'd live there for 18 years, no one says anything, there's nothing going on, and your dad's like, oh yeah, there's like 500 million pounds worth of gold in there. You're like, what? How's this in me the first time I'm hearing this?
Why didn't you coach me my entire childhood to be looking?
Yeah, why
for
have I
this
not
gold?
been learning to snorkel minimum?
Exactly.
But
I think that is, cool. And that is when you're young, you watch like sitcoms or like TV shows where people hear about this and they're like, right, like let's do
let's
it.
Get a plan. Let's knock some heads together.
Yeah. And then when you're old, and if you moved there with your partner, like when you're older, if you were to hear that, you'd be like, oh, all right.
Cool.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, what we having for dinner?
Exactly. But when you're young,
yeah,
and you're like,
that would
it's just
capture your
there.
imagination.
Yeah. Yeah. But that is
like there's no ceremony with anything.
Yeah.
It's like that is like gauche or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, you just don't make a fuss.
Yeah. But a guy falls off his horse.
Yeah,
let's get a statue.
Some cunt legs out of a cliff and
well, let's pop a statue up.
Alexander the Third.
Yeah, there is. That's yeah. I don't know if that's just. It is quite. I don't know if it's lame just to be like, oh, that's so Scottish.
Nah, it is though, isn't it?
It is a bit though. A guy fell off a horse. Let's put up a statue. There's 500 million pounds of King's
Let's
gold.
bring it up once every 20 years in passing.
Not just anyone's gold. The King's.
The King, by the way.
Yeah. The most golden person's.
Yeah, I
gold.
think Henry VIII had something to do with it. Like it was like some of it was his or something.
Some of it was.
He's like one of the big players.
He's a massive player.
Fuck knows, man.
But yeah, stuff like that, and then there not being any sort of celebration or like stuff about it. But then I guess people just keep telling each other about that sort of thing, or it being like.
I like stuff like that though.
Yeah,
like the oral
that
tradition
it's not
kind of
that it's not so documented, but a little something.
Yeah, maybe jot it down.
Something literally to prop it off of. would be nice. Because in Aberdeen there's one of the main things is, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, that Thomas Blake Glover was like a Scottish businessman, and who went over to Japan and brought a lot of like industry to Japan. He was like
Invent the Game Boy.
Honda.
Really?
Heard of them? Yeah. And bringing like, I think some like beers to Japan. Bringing
Good
some
lad.
beers.
I'll swap you these beers for your Honda.
Result. But yeah, he was involved in the sort of like some industrialization of it, and I don't know the exact ins and outs of it, but he's from Fraserburgh, and there is a chipper in Fraserburgh named after him. And
that's his legacy.
That is his legacy in the northeast.
He's on his deathbed going, I wonder what they're going to do to, I've made a real contribution here. I wonder how they're going to...
There's a chippy named after me. And
if only he'd fallen off his horse.
yeah. And there was a house of his in Bridge of Dawn where I'm from, and it was just like tucked away, and you would go in it, and the garden had all these sort of like Japanese blossom and stuff like that, and inside it had all this Japanese stuff, and it was crazy, and it was like a museum to him. But then they closed it to the public years and years and years ago, and nobody can go in. And it's not like, but even
seems like a shame.
Yeah, even when it was open to the public, not a lot of people knew about him, or he seemed to be like one of the most, like, a key figure. But there's in like Kyoto or something, there's like a massive museum and a statue.
Yeah, they love that guy.
They love him there. But yeah, that's
he's like Daniel Sloss or something. But he's bigger. He's
Yeah.
doing great here,
Yeah.
but he's sort of bigger elsewhere.
Yeah. That stuff like that is odd to me.
That is weird to
But
me
it
as
is
well.
funny. Like, like there's the Rocky statue in Philadelphia to like a fake guy
Yeah.
or something, and they're like, let's get a. Oh, but then
It's like
again,
us having a Shrek statue.
yeah. Or well, actually, to be fair, Desperate Dan in Dundee. That's
Yeah.
that.
Where
ma-
I have
that
also
ma-
lived.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you used to go to, and what are the people of Burnt Island like? Just normal
So,
folk.
yeah, just normal.
just normal folk.
Picture a normal person.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, nice. I think we had to put them on blast.
yeah. That is kind of like the thing of I think in Scotland, when I think you were talking about this one time on the podcast where I think it was maybe with Mark Nelson, and you were like, Glaswegian folk just think everywhere outside Glasgow
Yeah.
are tutors,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just like everywhere outside of
Everywhere outside of sort of Bishop Briggs,
yeah,
an equivalent
yeah,
is just just like.
yeah,
Although I don't know, forget for me if I'd said this on the podcast, but to me it's like not rural at all where I'm from. I've never ever thought of it like that. But then, you sort of speaking to that's funny. trying to somehow make the science of fizz not occur. As if the Iron Brew is beholden to the laws of this podcast. No, I do remember like a horse and cart going around the town delivering fruit and veg, and the horse would drink Guinness. And you're like, that sounds like something like someone in rural Ireland in the past would say. So like, I have to concede that it is kind of rural.
yeah. Somehow, you are.
I can see Edinburgh Castle there, but there's a horse drinking Guinness there.
I've got GTA Vice City in my hand.
Yeah. None of this makes sense. None of it adds up.
I'm gonna go play GTA Vice City.
Yeah, I can hear a horse drinking Guinness. I can see the sea, and there's a farm there, and the city's there. This is too much for me.
Yeah.
And like getting the bus to school was, you go over and it was all fields between,
Mm-hmm.
Kinghorn and
Mhm.
Kirkcaldy. So I don't know. It makes me sound like my
But then you
dad. Though
live
whenever he
here.
goes back to Dunfermline, it's like this was all fields in my day, and it's all houses now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I guess it is kind of. I guess we're not calling each other and ourselves tutors growing up.
No, but
But if a kid from Inverness or something came to our school, which didn't happen, but if they did, we'd
Yeah.
have probably called them a tutor.
yeah,
But we weren't tutors, at least in our imagination.
yeah, but there's that, and then there's the Glasgow has this personality, and Glaswegians have this personality. No, not any other city is really like a personality.
Well, they're very proud of themselves, aren't they? People
yes.
like Glasgow.
Yes, but it's not like, what are the people in Burnt Island like? Oh well,
We're not proud of
yeah,
ourselves.
yeah.
There's no sense of. I think we are in
Well,
the way that anyone is.
Name a square after a famous scientist
Yeah,
and put them on tenor, but it's not like
it's not on a
just the
building.
average the man in the street.
No, I think there's,
is
I
an
think there's a bit more
icon.
humility going
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
Whereas Glasgow is like,
Every cunt thinks there's someone.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you could just pick a comedian in Glasgow, just pick somebody off of the bloody street.
Yeah,
and
all right, well, let's see how that pans out.
Yeah, exactly. Which is that is funny to me. So when
I was
kind of
walking.
like,
Did I tell you about this? I was walking down the street the other day, and Sauchiehall Street. The end where I was
hell of a
approaching.
street to walk down.
It's like the Bittersweet Symphony video. And I'm getting towards the Buchanan Galleries, and there's some guy. It's like 2 p.m. There's a guy. I don't know if I'm assuming he's drunk. I don't know. I don't see the guy, but he's basically just walking along heckling people. He goes, "Oh, Larry David! Larry David! Big fan of your work, love Curb." And it's just like some bald guy. Looks absolutely nothing like Larry David. Like, fucking hell, man. Everyone's a comedian here. You're like,
Yeah.
well, no, he's actually just an abusive drunk.
Yeah.
He's a witless loser. This guy is what he is.
Yeah. That's very
Not just normal people.
Yeah,
Just
that's what
absolutely
I knew what the
nice,
answer was
normal
going to
people.
be.
There's not. I can't really think of a way to describe it
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah, folk who don't want a mad inner city life.
No, no
You know
one
what I
is
mean?
like jonesing for attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least not when I was. I've not lived there for a long time, but my mum and dad are still in the family home, so it's nice. I get a little taste of it.
That is nice. And so you would go to school on a collective school bus or like a normal bus?
A school bus, like it's just like a
Very
stagecoach.
American.
Yeah, it was Otto was driving, yellow. He was rad, man. He used to wear his headphones. I don't think he should have been driving that bus between me and him. No, there was multiple school buses with a colouring system. I was on the yellow bus.
Is that
But
good?
it's not coloured
Did
yellow.
you get slagged for that?
No, the yellow bus was alright.
Okay.
And I rose through the ranks pretty quick at the yellow bus. I was sitting at the back,
Okay.
sort
I
of
see.
before my time. I was doing alright on the yellow bus.
Nice.
I don't want to say I was a big name on the yellow bus, but I wasn't a small name. You serve your time. You work your way to the back of the bus.
Right.
But I
I see.
sort of jumped the queue a little.
Would you ever have to sometimes get the red bus and you're a nobody?
That would happen occasionally, and you're like, "Come on, I'm someone here, standing at the front."
All right, get on. Where's Otto? Empty seat at the front.
It's funny though, because like they all had their own personalities, even though they were just all stagecoach buses that were like, that we would
Contracted for
we
us,
would
high school.
commandeer at 8:30 and 3:30.
Oh,
or whatever.
it's a public bus on a public route.
But it's only for school kids.
Oh, I
at that
see.
time.
Okay.
And it's got a system, so it's not anarchy.
Aha.
So it'd be like, what bus are you on? I'm in the blue bus. Right, Whereas I thought the yellow bus was alright. It wasn't like, I'd say the red bus was maybe the best. But it's really just on the group of people, like, and it's just luck of the draw.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like a sort of American football kind of system.
It's not. There's not
Draw
a
of pick.
register next to the bus.
No, you just get your card and you kind of know which one you.
Oh, I guess it's geographical, of course.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yes.
But I don't know.
I'm thinking
But
it's
the powers that be decide. I'm
Who
a
knows?
pawn in this game.
who knows.
I'm
Yeah.
at their mercy. But it was crucially at the bottom of my street, so that's good news.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we're honing in on this so much.
This was like when I talked to Chris about his halls at uni. I could
right,
only
yeah.
picture. I've never had a school bus, and when I was talking to
How
Chris
did you get to school?
about his,
Just the bus. Oh, really?
yeah,
The
Old school
old-fashioned way.
me.
For listeners at home, he was putting one finger in front of the other as if to mimic walking.
just like I was putting one foot in front of the other. That's how I got to
Like
school.
when in School of Rock, he was, let's rock today.
It was because when I was talking to Chris about his halls, I could only picture one set of halls that I'd ever been in my life.
Poor imagination.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, pretty much. And the process of how people are allocated to different halls. Yeah, didn't
I don't know
understand.
how that works because I
buses.
was in halls
Yeah.
first year at
Yeah.
Dundee Uni,
Uh-huh.
and I remember specifically asking for mixed because I thought, well, it'd be better to live with boys and girls because
Uh-huh.
minimum it's going to be more interesting.
Yeah,
And it was just Sausage Fest
yeah.
2011 or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was 2011.
We'll put all the guys that asked for mixed, just with other guys.
Everyone that's got a name that looks like they might have BO will put in this flat, and I mean we can come on to this
we'll
later.
get
but
we'll get to that.
I'd say between my high school's called Balweary High School, and the halls that I was in at Dundee is called Belmont Tower. And I think if you were to Google image search those two buildings, you'd be like, these are two of the ugliest buildings I've ever seen in my life. Just like,
Well, you talking about that inspired me to do a bit, which hasn't worked.
well, this is what I try to
That
do for my friends.
the Google image, the first Google image result of your high school is such a powerful image.
To us, at least, to me and you.
to me and you, but I just assume that.
Hard to make the layman on a Saturday night give a fuck about that.
But I just think that everybody's nostalgic for that time because you're either nostalgic for it or you peaked at that point and you are actually literally nostalgic for it.
Sad,
But
innit?
just that image is so powerful that looking at it conjures so many memories.
Yeah.
And you've shown it to loads of people as you've
I think I showed
grown
you
up.
it because
Yeah.
my high school looks a bit like Dark Place Hospital from Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
And I think I did a bit of quoting you that I'm like, and you know, people will describe it and people will say mad shit about it that's like trivia or like local myth that doesn't make any sense. That
It's
you'd
making
be
less
like,
sense to me now than
Yeah,
it was before.
yeah, where you'll be like, it looks like a ship, and I'll be
It,
like,
it was designed
like,
to look like
it's
a
on
ship.
it's on stilts. That's not a ship you're talking
Yeah.
about. That's an oil rig. That doesn't make any sense. But
Yeah,
but
it
it's
doesn't,
the
yeah.
sort of like second or third thing that you automatically say because you heard it once, and you or that's what a teacher has told you or
Yeah.
something like that, and then that just becomes
I wouldn't say it looks very like a ship, but when
Yeah.
you hear that, you're like, oh, okay, that makes a little sense.
yeah.
Um,
I'll be sure to insert a picture. So people can judge if
yeah,
it's
please.
if it looks like if it looks like a ship.
It's not a
ship
pretty
or not.
building, I wouldn't say.
No, what school? What school
school
is? I mean, some private schools.
Some
look,
of them
look
are. I
pretty
don't see
nice.
those schools.
Yeah.
To go back to Banana for a second, I'm sorry. Back on the bus, to quote Paul McDaniel. Turn that around.
Yeah.
Only because I thought you'd be interested. I don't think I've ever mentioned this to you, but and this is weird for me, but in Burntisland, like you know, especially back in the day, you know, there was basically two main choices of employer if you're a guy, especially. So there was the aluminium plant, which my dad's dad worked in, and the shipyard, which my mum's dad worked in. But
Inside or outside?
of what the
Inside. No, you're either inside in the aluminium
yeah
plant, or
choose,
outside of the
yeah, choose your starter.
You're either
pool.
hard or you're not.
Which one do you think's hard?
The shipyards.
I think they both sound pretty hard.
Yeah,
to
they
me.
sound pretty hard, but back in those days,
If you're a soft lad, you're in the aluminium factory. Is that what you think?
yeah, you're a soft lad. You're
That's
working with
rad,
steel. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting fucking shrapnel in your eye, soft lad. Anyway, it was called the Alcan, the aluminium plant. The only reason I'm bringing it up is that there's a video on YouTube about, and it's called something, I don't know, it's like a Burnt Island heritage, you know, whatever the fuck. They've got a channel, and there's a few videos that they look like VHSs from like the 2000 or whatever. But my granddad's in it.
Oh wow!
And it was like years after he died that I saw it on YouTube. And fucking hell, it's my granddad. Just like sitting down, talking to camera. Robert McPherson under him, I think it says. In my mind, that's what it says. Anyway.
Amazing.
And it's just so weird to like see someone who obviously was so formative for you growing up that you loved
Yeah.
growing up. Then you hadn't, you know, he died. You didn't see him for years, obviously, and then you see him on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like him talking about the Alcan, and you'll love it because it's very John. It's very this podcast, but you know it's sort of before the time when, you know, how like I'm much like how all Glaswegians think they're comics now. Like everyone is like ready, like this. Everyone's ready
Yeah.
to do telly the
Yeah.
whole time. Everyone understands how to
That's
present
it.
themselves. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like I can understand what he's saying, but like if you showed that to an English person, they'd be like, I don't even know what he's fucking saying.
Yeah.
He's got like, he's not been media trained. My dead granddad. To be fair to the guy.
Is there loads of banging going on in the background? Is he shouting?
No, he's like sitting down with a suit on, like in a, you know, at least sitting down for an interview.
Okay.
It's not like at work.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, just kind of wild, right?
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
mad. I love.
I think it's called The People in the Place. I think it's called Burntisland.
I will look it up. That's
Yeah.
great.
I'll show you.
I love stuff like that when you see like old, like BBC archive videos and stuff like that. When it's like,
Yeah.
and what do you think about this? Oh well, I don't know about all this, and blah, blah, and then like people speak for like 5 minutes
Yeah.
or something, but they'll talk in many different sort of like angles of something, but they just talk normally.
Yeah.
They talk.
We've lost that now, haven't we?
Yeah, we have lost that. It's like peak in like let it in like Get Back when they're playing on the roof. It's like, what do you think of it? Oh well, you know what I mean?
It's not really my taste.
Well, it's not really my taste, but oh yeah, they're nice boys, nice
Yeah, they've
nice
done well for
boys.
themselves, these lads.
Oh, it's lovely, yeah, but, you know, hearing the music in the street. But, you
We
know,
should do more things like this.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a racket. People
Whereas
are
now
trying to
it's-
people are trying to work. Yeah.
It's, you know, fucking Jack Mate
Yes,
or something,
yeah.
which is just a name I've heard. Thrust in a mic in someone's face and they're like doing bits and
Yeah.
they're fucking throwing peace signs at the camera.
Yeah.
This country's fucking gone, John. Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that I guess was early sort of street content. What do you think? The Beatles are playing on the roof
Reaction
up there.
video.
What do you think? But that nobody has any media training and people are just sort of.
Oh, it's so nice to watch.
Yeah, it's so good.
I'll just watch like an old granny saying anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Love
it's
it.
funny. That you know what when I first got together with Lauren, we were
Friend of the show.
friend of the show, owner of this home, friend of the show, owner of the couch.
Literally couldn't do it without her.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, this is her side, so I better behave myself. That's my side. You can say whatever you want about her.
Do you, when you're sitting watching telly, sorry if it's too personal a question, are you giving each other space on the couch? Is it?
No.
Are you cuddled up? I like to think when I'm picturing you two, which I do. I'm
Yes,
picturing
yes
you
and
cuddled
no. Yes and no.
Choose your battles.
Sometimes I will be.
Leave her well alone.
Sometimes we will. Yeah, you'll need to declare that you need some
Interesting.
space.
Because like I go back home and it's like, you know, mum's got a couch, dad's got a couch, and you're like, I respect it. But
Yeah.
at what point do you stop
Shall
sitting
we get
on
another
each other
couch? Yeah.
and sit next to each other? And then at what point it's like, I'd like a separate. I don't want to sit on something that you're sitting on. That's how much space we need now.
Yeah.
And is that sad or is that nice? Discuss.
I think. Well, I think it's. I think it's mostly nice.
It depends on the tone in which it's done, right?
Yeah. Because sometimes. Yes. I'm thinking of Christmas morning when you're all in the living room, or there'll be more people in the living room than usual, and you'll see your mum and dad on a sofa together,
Yeah,
and you're like,
they look
whoa,
weird together. Wouldn't put you two together? Odd couple.
Exactly. That weird.
It's like a wedding. We've paired them up with randoms.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully they mingle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the opposite of that. When they're being forced together
Yeah.
once a year. But when me and Lauren first got together, she was showing me like parts of where she grew up on like Google Street View, and Street
Yeah,
View is a stretch.
Google
She's just
Path View.
clicking down a country road for like a minute.
Oh, how did they get a car down there?
Yeah.
Horse with a camera on its head.
I was showing her like my where my gran stayed, and that was like near in the country. But this is you're talking about the documentary with your granddad and seeing him after he passed away. I went on like Google Street View and showed her my gran's house, and my gran's on Google Street View. She's putting someone in the wheelie bin.
No way. That's fantastic.
She's putting someone in the wheelie bin, and her face is blurred out. And I had never seen this before, and I just immediately burst into tears.
Oh, man.
Because I just hadn't ever seen. I literally couldn't see her because her face is blurred out.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I just know everything.
Can you write to Google and be like, can you give me the unblurred image of that?
Yeah. And I could
I want to
just
see what she's put in the wheelie bin.
I think it's just some sticks, some twigs. But it's just very funny knowing so much about
Yeah.
that person.
Yeah.
And then them just being, the fact that my grandma was born just so far away from like the Google car that's capturing.
Yeah, I mean, imagine explaining that. So.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
The only other thing I've got like that is I was watching a documentary about Jockey Wilson.
the
darts
Jockey
player.
Wilson suite.
I've played darts and it's very flat.
Yes.
A famous son of Kirkcaldy, Jockey Wilson, athlete, lost his last tooth.
I didn't know
I want to
that.
say 26,
Right. Okay.
because he loved sweeties so much, and he never brushed his teeth because his granny told him that the English poison the water. Something like that. Anyway, I was watching a documentary about him, and my dad was like, "Oh, he worked with your gran," because he was just like playing darts in Kirkcaldy. So like, obviously, someone worked with my gran. So like, that's the nice thing about small towns, isn't it?
Yeah. And that it's back to the thing. It's It's the old, it's the old Elvis and Prestwick routine. It's the old King's
the old
Gold.
Robbie Bowen's Elvis and Prestwick routine.
It's the old King's Gold in the Sea routine. It's the it's only worth mentioning if it has
If it's right in front of you.
if it's right
Yeah.
in front of you.
Yeah.
Then I'll bring it up.
Don't you just love though, like talking to? I always feel so bad for years. I lived with my friend Ben, who is from Kirkcaldy, who I went to school with, and my friend Ollie, who we met at uni. But I mean, about 80% of our conversations is like, "Oh, do you remember that guy from school?" I'm never happier than talking about stuff like that. Like hazily trying to remember or guess who someone is.
Yeah.
I was at a gig last night, and I was in a pub after SEMA at the Barrowlands, and I was speaking to this girl, Libby Penman. Actually, she's a great filmmaker now, but she's from Balweary, Moscow, Kirkcaldy, and and the things that we could talk about, like she's worked with David Attenborough and stuff. And we're sitting in the bar going, she's gone, "Do you remember he had a mole?" And I'm like, "You were 2 years below me, and I'm trying to remember some guy that had a mole. Like, I need more than that, but I've never had such a good conversation."
Yeah. Must be ostracizing for all.
Well, this is what I'm saying. You always
for
feel
all-
bad for the third person. When you see them
Yeah.
just sipping the pint and eyes glazing over, because whoever that is like, yeah, I'd be hating that as well. But I'm sorry, we can't stop
Yeah. Yeah. Even though he probably has now
talking about
Working.
something that happened in Techie in second year.
he has a working knowledge of
Oh yeah, he knows a lot of characters where it's just names.
yeah.
But then he's got ones like from his work or whatever, where it's just like, yeah, Adam Garvin. It's just like a name I've heard loads
Yeah.
because he loves drinking beer. Like that's all I know about that guy.
So, would you spend a lot of time in Kirkcaldy, like going there, like in your teens and stuff like that, when you're sort of
Yeah.
painting the town red, pre
Pretty
underage?
Dundee. Well, yeah, kinda. It's funny how similar in my life when I was like 14, 15, even 16 probably, like how similar that is to like an old granny. You get on the bus, you go to the town, you do a bit of shopping, you come home. That's like what we would do because
Yeah.
there's nothing else to do. And they had like, you'd go to the Mercat shopping centre, which is shite.
Put your little rain thing on.
I've got one of those the little trolley that's tartan with a little hood on it for the rain.
Yeah.
Fill that with shortbread messages. Yeah, like literally just cutting about, wasting time.
Yeah.
That's just it, really. Just
Great.
when you're not playing football or playing the PlayStation or
Yeah.
whatever. Literally, yeah, just being in JJB Sports. Just
Yeah.
that's it. Being in Woolworths.
Yeah.
Not even buying it.
yeah. Yeah.
Just like, what else is there to do?
Yeah,
There's nothing
exactly.
to do.
Like I went to the shop last night at the end of the street, and two lads were in the shop as well, and they were like talking to each other about what they were gonna get, and yeah, that's just what they were doing. They were just being in the
Yeah,
corner
just being
shop.
in the big JJB Sports up at the retail part. There was like a putting mat.
Oh wow.
So you're like, yeah, you can't ask us to leave. It's not a rule that you're not allowed to just putt
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever, or bounce a football a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Or you're just like in Woolworths, being like just picking up things that are funny and showing them to your mate, and laughing. Just like, I'll meet you back here. You pick up something funny. I'll pick up something funny. So, it's all on TikTok these days, isn't it? That's gone as well, isn't it? Just picking something up in Woolworths for a laugh.
Yeah. Like, and then yeah. So yeah, that's it, and that would have been in Kirkcaldy.
That would have been in
Yeah.
Kirkcaldy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was never any shops in Burntisland.
But yeah, that's it makes
Just like kicking about the streets
Yeah.
as well. Just like
yeah. Did you have any
kicking
like
a can. Like literally, I know it's a phrase. I don't mean this euphemistically. Just,
literally kicking a
just
can? Yeah.
dossing around.
Yeah. There's
There's
nothing wrong with
There's
that.
nothing wrong with that.
Lloyd says that I
hope
keep
people
saying that I have said that loads. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But there isn't anything wrong with that.
There isn't.
But as part of my work the other day, we were talking about places like public spaces and areas, and we're like, oh, what? But what's people's desire to like for public spaces, like somewhere to sit and like meet a friend or like have a chat, and then it's like, oh, but people will be worried that kids will like congregate there, and it's like,
That's what they're meant
well,
to
that's
do.
that's what they're meant to
Where are they
do.
meant to go?
Yeah,
Where do you want kids to be?
yeah. There's not pubs for kids.
No, exactly. But that's a good. Write that down. That's a good idea. Pubs for kids. That's a great idea.
But but like, what do
Goes
you?
back in the day. Pubs were pubs for kids. weren't they? What's your first pub memory?
Pub memory.
Like, were you in as a child ever? Like,
Oh no,
no. That's what I was getting at.
no, certainly not.
I remember going to the Sands in Burntisland, which is basically the bottom of the road, and still there, and to watch. I think it was the 1999 FA Cup final, Manchester United versus Newcastle United, the year they won the treble, as you'll know from the Beckham documentary.
Sure.
Bit of it was on that, and I remember going, I watched that in the pub with my
What?
dad. I think Stuart Murray and Scott Murray were there with their dad. These are people from school.
Oh right. Okay. I thought they were
Married
other
now,
mother.
kids.
I thought they were other Murray brothers.
No.
And
Like,
I was like, they're
so
they're
you've
not
got-
from.
you've
Burn
got Andy,
Island.
Jamie, Chris Forbes, and then these pair. Yeah, watching the football, playing pool, drinking Coke, and you're like, this is like an amazing new world. Like,
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this before.
Why were you allowed in there?
I don't know, I was like 5 or something. How old are they? 6. I don't know. But I mean, it was fine.
That's great. Yeah.
Sometimes you get kids in pubs.
Sometimes you do, but I don't. I think I maybe.
I don't
probably,
know. I've no idea what the rules are.
Nor do I.
I don't need to know.
Definitely back in the day.
Is this for me, by the way?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Definitely.
Good hospitality.
Definitely back in the day, that audio puts us in the mind of a pub.
Cracking open a cold one with
Yeah.
the boys. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with that. But I mean, back in the day, which is a day before my time, that it would have been just vibes of just of course, have that kid in the pub or
Yeah.
whatever. 'Cause I'm not, talking about somebody else's experience, but yeah,
I reference this bit all the time. I shouldn't just do another comedian's bit. You know, I just love doing bits.
Yeah.
But, it's a brilliant Irish comedian called Shane Clifford. Do you know him? I remember seeing him in Dublin. I was just gigging with him, and he was headlining, and he had a bit about being in the pub as a kid, and your dad's going like, "Oh, slow down there in your Coke." 'Cause he's had like one Coke and a packet of crisps, whilst he's had 13 Guinness. Slow down! Don't race it. You'll not get another.
that's brilliant.
Not like I was a lot, but that really sticks out in my memories. That's an early memory for me of like just having a great time watching the football and playing pool.
Yeah.
Exciting. Probably played like one shot. I was 6.
I was going to say, how tall is your dad holding you? Whilst
Fuck
you're
knows. I
holding
probably
the
didn't even
cue?
play, but just like you just like
Yeah, but in your mind,
yeah.
the nostalgia
so
is
evocative.
it's like you're there, fag hanging out the mouth.
Yeah.
I'll break.
Throw us on another pint of heavy, would you, Sheila?
That's
Sorry,
so
anyway, I'm
funny.
really
no,
sidetracking
no,
you.
that's really funny. And I think I would have had more sort of maybe being in a lounge for dinner or something that was attached to a pub, and you'll maybe not be at the bar, but you'll maybe see through a bar, through a middle into the actual.
Well, the Sands is a bit like that, so maybe that's kind of
Yeah, and
you
you'll be
can
like,
eat them.
there's a different vibe through there, family vibe through here, but it's a different vibe through there, all under the one roof.
it's got it all.
Yeah, 2 vibes, 1 roof. You don't get that much anymore.
No, you
It's
don't.
got to be all the same vibe under.
Bit
one
like
roof.
this is a cheat, but the big Tesco in Mary Hill, which is one of the great Glasgow landmarks.
Yes.
It's got underneath. You got a Greg's. You've got a fucking funeral parlour, or something like that. It's just I'm in there a lot, and I'm always thinking you could live your whole life in here. You got
Yeah.
Tesco extra with all of its wonders and riches.
Uh-huh.
You got a Greg's. You got a charity shop. And you've got, you eat in Greg's, you do your shop there, you die there, and then they give you clothes in next door day after you die.
Yeah. Brilliant.
All of life.
Brilliant. But pub memories.
That's a podcast.
I don't have many strong pub memories because I probably wouldn't have tried to get served at the pub that's nearest to my house.
No, I wasn't a big
Underage. Yeah,
I wasn't a big in the park guy either. I was a bit more.
Oh,
of a
I was.
goody two-shoes.
I was big in the park guy, and then and not a park near me, but my mum always talks about. She would be like, "You used to hate going out because it'd be in all seasons, and you'd be out in the winter."
It was minus 2 today coming here. Imagine going out drinking and
Yeah.
that. Like, no wonder you were tanning a bottle.
Yeah, my mum was like, "You used to hate going out because you'd just be in the park, just cold," and you'd be like, "Mum, I hate going out and being cold."
Just kids shivering.
Yeah, get shivering, warming the cockles with a Smirnoff Ice. Yeah, but I didn't do much underage drinking because I looked underage.
Didn't have the grey hair at that point.
No. So yeah. And then you were in Kirkcaldy. Yeah. So Kirkcaldy's.
Kirkcaldy is like, just the nearest big town. So yeah, you're at school there. You know, I've got some pals there. Most of my mates were from Kinghorn though, really, which was the wee village in between. So I spent a lot of time there.
Okay.
You're just sort of knocking around your mates' houses, aren't you?
Yeah.
On a sort of rotational basis.
Yeah.
Kind of playing the same games.
Yeah.
Playing FIFA on different couches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um.
Someone's got different games.
Yeah,
and
Kirkcaldy. I mean, I will have a million memories of it, but it's not like. I don't know. It's yeah. I remember there was they had a place called Coco's on Link Street's pretty dodgy. It's where the bus would go for school, and Coco's was like a soft play.
Mhm.
So that was a.
We
big
had a
deal when you were kid.
Coco's. We had a
Was that
Coco's
chain?
in Aberdeen. Yeah, I think.
But
so.
then by the time we were like,
Actually, like,
that's
how,
crazy.
How
isn't
is
it?
that a chain? What a
It did, tell
crazy
you what,
chain!
it don't look like a fucking chain.
They
It doesn't look like something that's been standardized and refined. It looks like there's loads of plasters in this ball pit. That's what it looks like. But the only reason I bring it up is like
Doesn't
that's
look like they're branching.
no. This is going so well. We need to expand. Coco's. But anyway, yeah, but so you'd go there a lot as a kid, very exciting.
Yeah.
But then by the time I was like 18, they'd done it so like, 'cause, they need to diversify their income streams. Like it's like you can get lashed and have a stag do here now. So if you can like get pissed and play Laser Quest in the ball pit
Yeah.
and stuff.
That's the opposite of, my idea of pubs for kids. They're like, we're doing soft
Ball
play
pits
for
for
adults.
adults,
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
Because
is
they've got
actually a thing
money.
now. There's one in Edinburgh.
Is there?
Yeah, they came to see my fringe show last year and they gave me a freebie.
Cocoa stuff.
No, it's called. I'll give them a plug. Fuck it. I think it's called Bolly Bolliston or something.
Okay.
It's near Mum's Comfort Food
Ah, nice.
near Greyfriars Bobby.
Nice.
But like, yeah, we like to show if you fancy, free meal or whatever, hit us up. So you'd have loved this site. I took Mark Jennings because we were finishing our shows at the same time. So we sat and had a pizza in this fucking this place where like there's just like people drunk in a ball pit and we're just like, bib on, dining and then just leaving. It was someone's birthday, I remember, and they brought out like a cake and 50 Cent in the club played and there was sparklers coming off the cake and it was like 6 o'clock at night on a Thursday and we were just eating a pizza. But anyway. Yeah, so I mean, Kirkcaldy, I'm trying to think if
this is what is
I made some
kind of
notes.
hard to.
There's kind of not
It's kind of hard to.
much to say.
That's what I'm kind of a bit concerned about this podcast a little bit because I'm like, what the fuck am I even talking about with people? Because they're just like, it's all just, none of it is really, odd or unique at all.
There's so many
to them because it's just your childhood or what is foundational knowledge to you that doesn't
also things that
stand
don't
out.
seem weird to you that
Sure.
are weird to other people.
Sure, yeah.
And also there's just so many identical towns
Yes.
is what you learn.
Yeah, I mean we had that when we went to like the other weekend we went to Campbelltown and somewhere else that I've already forgotten the name of.
Scrubbed it, didn't need to keep that.
Yeah, and someone was like, people do say, "Oh, I must like go to this place or go to this place," but they all fucking look the
You've
same.
seen one, you've seen them all.
And it is a bit of that.
I do really like that Stuart Lee routine about how every town in Britain's the same now. And
corn
it's only the
exchange.
works that's the interest. That's a really funny bit.
Yeah.
But no, it's just like, loads of places in Fife, I suppose, or not even, fucking all over. Yeah, fucking Thatcher. After kind of industrialisation,
Uh huh.
It's not the right way of saying that, but you know what I mean. After the shipyards, it
After
kind of wound
that,
down
yeah.
the pits and everything, and like you know, there's pits in Kirkcaldy and that, and then they went, and then
The
there's
aluminium factory still going?
No, it's all Hussies now. Still call it the Alcan. They'll help he lives up the Alcan.
Okay, I see. So what the
Um,
hell was left?
What for men?
the
like
hard
us?
men and the
For men like
softy.
us.
Yeah.
Well, you can get a job in the fishmongers now, I guess.
Oh, okay. Okay, I guess.
I think now increasingly it's maybe like a commuter town to Edinburgh.
No, right. Okay.
But yeah, Kirkcaldy was like pits and stuff. Seafields was a pit, and you know it's just like, what is there to say really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That is.
There's a big linoleum factory there. That's what it was famous for. It was
Yeah.
making linoleum. But
Right.
I don't think they make it there anymore. You pass it on the train, you're like, oh, that's a shame. Just loads of shit that burnt down. There used to be a cinema in Burnt Island on the high street, burnt down. Used to be a cinema in Kirkcaldy, I think it burnt down as well. That's where that gig is now.
Right.
I saw
Okay.
Babe Pig in the City in there. But it's just like, you know, like it's not that long ago, but like I've got memories of being in Kirkcaldy and like watching, you know, Toy Story 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, that is unthinkable now that like a town like that would have a cinema.
Yes.
Just wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Or they have to be really fucking out of the way
Yeah.
to have a cinema. When was the last time you were back in Burnt Island?
Not long ago. I try and go back. I'm not too bad. I
Yeah.
feel bad when I don't go back, but it's annoying because I'm always gigging. It's like, well, I'm in Edinburgh that weekend, so I'll nip back. But then you're like, well, I've got a gig at fucking 5 o'clock, so
Yeah.
you know, and then I'll get back at midnight or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I try and do a few days here and there. I love going back. I love just sitting on the couch watching the telly. My mum and dad and sister, and we just always get drunk and play cards and
Yeah.
watch quiz shows. It's
Great.
fun. The only other thing I was going to say that it's just, you know, a bit like that Shirley thing of however was the same now. It's like it's just the classic, and even Glasgow's like this to a degree, despite it being a city. It's just like this high street's on its fucking arse.
Yeah.
You know, even M&S is gone. That was the big stronghold of like, you know, BHS went years ago.
Yes.
And then like now, you know, M&S is away, and then it's all at the retail part now. It's
Uh-huh.
just like that. It's just it's like it's a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like every town is just fucked.
Yeah.
Just all the shops are boarded up, and not all of them. You know, that sounds glib, but yeah, just loads of empty shops.
Yeah.
A lot of vape shops. You
Yeah.
know, it's
People
just
want
like,
to.
You know, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
the retail park's bigger, and the next is huge, and there's a fucking, you know, drive-through Greg's probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, all that shit.
Yeah. I don't know if that's
It
just
feels
like
a bit soulless, doesn't
it does. It does feel a bit soulless,
Especially when you don't
and-
drive. So I don't even care about the retail part.
Yeah, or the drive-through Greg's, and the
Every Greg's is a drive-through Greg's when you're driving your feet. That's what I say.
yeah, when you're doing that.
Clip, 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 clip.
Yep. But yeah, that whole sort of like death of the UK at a high street thing. I don't know how, if that's just the way things are going, or that, you know, I was like, what's Burnt Island like? And you're like, yep, normal place. You're like, it's got one of kind of everything, and if you've got one of everything, then that's fine. It's maybe
Yeah.
not, you know, a place where where as a child you can get a burger, which
No,
is
you could now.
the most exciting thing.
Yeah, yeah,
just to
yeah.
have a burger. You're not talking about like a Five Guys burger
No.
or something like that.
There's a shop called Burger Island, which was a van, and now they've got a premises. Shout out, it's good. Burger
Fantastic.
Island. And not a great pun on Burnt Island, but
No, but
it's sort of in the realms, isn't it?
yeah, nobody's. Yeah,
But like that is like you would never have had a burger at home, or we wouldn't have cooked burgers,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't get one in the town.
yeah,
But now, you know, you get takeaway. I'm there a couple of weeks ago, we're drinking beers. I've got a fucking burger. We've got loaded fries, man.
loaded fries.
What year is it?
I know. Yeah,
We've loaded our fries.
yeah,
And it's been sent to us.
yeah. You've got loaded fries, and there's a horse drinking Guinness
Yeah,
at the end of
that
the
makes
road.
sense. The horses are eating loaded fries now, man.
And you're watching your dead grandfather on YouTube.
Yeah, like this is just too much for me. This is crazy. I can see Edinburgh at the window. Granddad's on the telly. He's been dead for 12 years. I'm eating loaded fries.
I don't even live here.
What is going on?
My bedroom.
Yeah.
It doesn't even exist.
Oh man.
So, speaking of Babe Pig in the City, you moved to Dundee,
And I was a babe in that fair city.
Yeah.
City of Discovery.
right? Yeah. Mhm.
Jam jute in journalism.
I was going to ask you about that because I was actually in
3Js of Dundee.
the V&A, and there was I think a tea towel or something that with jam jute in
My
journalism.
dad probably made it.
And I was thinking, I was like, I thought to myself, I was like, first of all, I said to my mum,
What the
"Mum,
fuck is
what's
jute?
jute?"
Yep. Contact your local elder to tell you what jute is. Some kind of fabric, right?
My mum,
Woven fabric.
yeah, I think my mum, thankfully, is not a patronising person. Where
I like him. I'm friend of the show.
where she was just like, just fabric or something like that. She's not. Whereas
She
I
knows you
would
don't
probably
need
milk it.
more than that.
Yeah, if somebody was asking me and I was a dad, I would say, jute is blah blah blah. It would be a longer explanation.
First brought over in the.
But yeah, it's fabric. But then I did think to myself, I was like, that's lucky that they had the three J's.
Lovely, isn't it? It just makes
Lovely.
sense. It's just
Yeah,
easily memorable.
that is yeah, that's big city stuff.
That is, that's-
Three different exports, all beginning with the same letter. They've got it made.
They have. It's did they have jam jute and thought, let's start knocking out some papers?
or they were right, or they were making papers and wearing jute, and that start making jam.
Yeah. Mary, boil up some berries, would you? How hard can that be?
Yeah.
To be famous for jam, I've never thought about that. That's because surely every fucker's making jam, no?
Yeah.
I guess they were good at exporting it or something.
Yeah.
I love Dundee.
That's when it was literally that visit. We were talking about that, and I was like, who's the jam? I was like, is it Robertson's jam?
I don't know.
You don't. It's not. You don't know who's.
I guess there must be a predominant brand, but when I was at Freshers Week, it wasn't an emphasis for me.
Yeah, they weren't sponsoring the jelly shots.
Fucking jam Jägermeister and journalism.
Jägermeister.
I really had to go for the J to sell it.
Of
Do you know what I mean?
course you did.
Obviously, I'm not ordering it like that.
Yeah.
I'm not ordering it.
Yeah.
You're a teetotal man. I can't imagine there's many good 0.0s Jägermeisters out there. Are there? A sipping non-alcoholic Jäger.
Yeah. Well, what's
Yeah.
funny to me is that journalism. I'm like, oh yeah, the Beano and the Dandy. And I'm like, no, the
that
pa-
one's
the paper, not the newspaper. It's not the comics. Is the
Well, I
journalism.
think that's definitely
Well, still
part of
DC
it.
Thompson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
it's all the same thing.
Same conglomerate.
Yeah.
Not conglomerate. I don't know.
But the Beano that's the Beano.
Yeah.
But the Beano seems so British, and the Dandy seems so.
I never read any of those growing up. I know them as a reference point, but I wasn't reading the Beano.
I wasn't.
It just didn't appeal to me. I wasn't into comics and
I
stuff.
don't think
tried a
I-
couple of times, but
I don't think I was reading it, but I was definitely getting
I
annuals.
was looking at it, the pictures. Because then you've got the Bruins and Our Willie, of course. Are they like the sort of the Marvel, whatever the fuck,
the
DC?
Marvel
I
DC.
don't-
Well, DC.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's why I avoided saying that, because I knew it'd be confusing. But then I tied myself in knots.
yeah. But then, yeah, Beano and Dandy seem so. They're Beano's British
Beano to
coded.
me sounds well, Mr. Bean, Mr. Beano.
Yeah,
That seems more English, even though it's not from Dundee. But whereas the Bruins and Our Willie is like
doesn't get more
does
Glasgow
not get
than
more
that.
Scottish than that.
Yeah,
Um,
and you moved there to do
To study.
to study.
English literature
Mm-hmm.
and psychology actually, but I dropped psychology. It was too hard. You had to know stuff about the brain box, the noggin, and I wasn't up for that. Frankly,
Yeah,
much easier to pretend to read Wuthering Heights.
I should have said which were you doing, jam jute or journalism at
Yeah.
Dundee Uni.
Do it clean if you want.
Yeah.
I loved my time in Dundee. I loved it. Weirdly, I saw CMAT last night at the Barrowlands, the Irish singer,
Mm-hmm.
and she was shouting out Dundee on the stage, which was funny, because she was talking about how loads of Irish people came to Scotland in the last 5-10 years. Your girlfriend to name but one.
Yes.
And how she's got strong connections to Scotland. And she's like, loads of my friends are in Dundee, and everyone was going boo, and Glasgow were booing Dundee, and I thought, fucking grow up. And I saw Ruth Hunter there, who is Irish and studied at Dundee, comedian, friend of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. There's happy memories from studying Dundee.
Seems like a fun place to go to uni
It is, because it's a uni
because it's
town.
micro.
Yeah, it's small, but to me it felt big,
Yes, of course.
which is so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
I was in London last week. Actually, I was at a pub quiz.
Hey,
in
that
London.
felt big.
I can't remember what it was. It was like Dalston or something. But I was at a pub quiz.
You were in London, and speaking of being in JJB Sports, you said, I'm just eating chicken in Baker Street, filling time.
I did text you saying I'm eating chicken on Baker Street, killing time. That was a text. I sent you word for word verbatim. But I got a point in the pub quiz because I knew Ernest Shackleton's boat, Discovery. Because, you know, it's in Dundee, the city of discovery. I've been on the boat.
Oh, it's good when you can bring a point to a quiz just from living your life.
From, slumdogging
from
it.
just being. From being. Yeah, that's good.
Not many people in that pub in
People,
Dalston
especially if
could
you're.
say the same.
Yeah, and that's making you seem exotic around.
Around
a,
tell me more about this place.
around a pub table of Londoners or whatever. But yeah, that's good. So, but yeah, Dundee seems like because Aberdeen's good for, I imagine, is a great place to go to for uni. Because I knew a lot of people from like Glasgow or like Lanarkshire who studied in Aberdeen, and it's got one big main street and it's got another long street.
Union Street.
But yeah, Union Street, you kind of really get lost.
Perth Road is our Union Street. In Dundee, I lived on Perth Road above a pub called Braes, now called The Braes.
The Braes.
Rebrand.
I know that street.
Have you gigged in there?
Yes.
We used to go to a pub quiz there, and every week it was won by a team called Steve, which was one guy called Steve that used to sit suspiciously near the quizmaster for me, but I trust that he was a smart guy.
One guy?
Just one guy, Steve Brainbox. He would just come every Monday and smash, mostly students, to be fair.
Right,
he was
okay.
like a middle-aged guy singing pints. Not really in the spirit of things.
No, it's not, is it?
But yeah, I loved it.
Get another quiz, Steve.
Get your own quiz. Become the quiz master.
Yeah.
Yeah, near Groucho's record store, and used to look out of our front room window and like literally, I can't remember what it's called, but the main tower. I think it's just the tower building. Like where I've got my lectures, it's like bang, it's there. It's like literally across the road. Like
Great.
I could leave at 8:58 and make my class.
Amazing.
So it was very small and easy, but it was also like I was meeting English people, Irish people. That was about it. But yeah, I just never met anyone not from Fife, really.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it felt very. I think it was good for me.
Yes.
I think if I'd have gone to London or even Glasgow would probably have been fine. But you know, I think there was a version of that where
Where
it's
can
like,
I
this
go?
is too much for me, and I'm going to go back and live in my parents' house forever. Whereas this was like a baby steps thing.
Yeah,
so like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
all been a slow process.
Yeah. You're kind of thinking, where can I go that I won't get chewed up and spat back
Yeah,
out,
this is like
basically?
an acceptable step up. You know, it's like you're a footballer in the 3rd division and you go to the 2nd division. I can't get plucked to the Premier League straight away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be found out, and
Yeah.
that's gonna be
Yeah.
demoralizing.
Yeah. We can park a mental health crisis for for my late 20s if you don't mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll get round to that later.
But yeah, that's really nice. Just having a small
Yeah. And like literally, like you go into the union at the uni, and
Yeah.
there's better places to go. Like the cool people are like doing drugs at reading rooms, but like
Right.
I'm not really doing that. Like it's just
but
you know, it's like it's still safe, and it's still like,
yeah,
you know, you've got that safety net of like if
Mhm.
this goes tits up,
yeah.
my mum can literally get me.
Exactly.
That's never happened, but like
But
somewhere in
good
there
to
that is
know.
a thing that's
good
like
to know. Yeah.
yeah, like
My mum could come and get me
yeah.
and take me to. I'm not far from Kirkcaldy Hospital. I know that much.
Yeah, it's like laughably close. It's like when I think back to like when we were kids. And
But then that's how you'd think if you were a parent.
yeah,
You'd be like, well, I moved to Glasgow and
I'm literally bringing washing home like a lot of the time.
yeah, I am now too far for. If anything happens to me at 33, my mum can come and get me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the 3.5 hours that it would take. Yeah, something.
Even like I'm moving flat for the first time in a while in January, and I'm like, oh god, I wish my mum and dad could come out here. I mean, and they probably could, and they probably would,
Yeah,
but I can't be
but
asking
yeah,
people in the sticks to travel coast to coast to help me move 6 minutes up the road.
yeah,
You got to figure that out on your own,
Yeah.
now, man. You're an adult.
yeah.
Um,
Your dad going. What are you doing with that typewriter? Is that?
never fucking mind. I was gonna give it to you as a present, Dad, for the help.
With all the advice, yeah. But
Yeah,
that-
no, love Dundee. It's crazy how much it's changed now. Actually, when you go back, it's like when I was there, it was like all rubble down the front of the town. It was all
And that sounds like a horse drinking Guinness.
yeah, I keep catching places where like there's been loads of shit like this in my life where it's like the amount of places that have shut down while I've been working there.
yeah. Yeah.
My first job was at a place called the Jeans Scene, a shitty clothes shop in Kirkcaldy in the Mercat Centre.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of those DFS sale places where it was like closing down for years.
Yeah.
I remember about 4 minutes into my first shift, a guy came up like, "You closing today, son?" I was like, "I fucking hope not." Literally, I don't even know how to hang a t-shirt up yet.
Yeah.
And then when the Argos is still going, but the branch of Argos in Kirkcaldy High Street that I worked at closed while I was working. I was on there for a month, and then the potato shed closed while I was working. Blah blah blah. Every job I've been at has failed.
Mm-hmm.
Dundee wasn't built when I was there. Like they kept talking about. And Kirkcaldy they've done up the front of the promenade now as well, and like it's just funny, like you grow up and like even when you're a child you're hearing like, oh, they're gonna redevelop the front of the town, they're gonna make it nice, and then you hear that just like that's like an ongoing conversation
Yeah.
for like 15 years.
Yes.
And now that's happened, and they've got a new swimming pool and stuff, but I've not seen any of this.
Yeah.
Dundee was the same the whole time I was there. It was like we're redeveloping the front of the city. So now it's nice when you go back. There's got like big hotels, the new train station, and it's like a nice park at the front.
Yeah.
None of that. It was like a fucking 1970s train station I was getting off at.
You're just like, so what?
Glasgow's on its fucking arse. It's all on fire. It's fucked. And then I'll go
It's
to
filthy.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like everywhere I go is just like fucked.
Yeah.
And
And
on
then
its
you're like,
arse.
what's the local authority been doing whilst I'm having my time in here? Saving up.
Yeah, what are they doing? They're saving their pennies and getting their IDs in line. They're getting their ducks in a row for when
Yeah.
I leave.
Yeah.
But now it's really nice.
Yeah.
And I really did love it though. I don't have a bad word to say about it, but it was very insular and very studenty. You never mixed with people.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like I'm a fucking 18-year-old kid. Why am I going up to pubs speaking to old men
Yeah.
in Hilltown? Why the fuck would I do that?
Yeah. But would you?
Um,
Is Duncan and Jordanston part? That's in Dundee.
That's the art.
That's the
film.
art.
Yeah,
one.
that's
and
like
is that
right.
part of the
Yeah,
same?
it's like right in the
part of the same
of it.
uni.
Yes,
Yeah. So but there'd be people
Phil
who would
Jupiters
be
goes there.
just now.
He's a student. Yeah,
Is he a shit? All right. Okay.
DJ Cat.
What's he doing? Jam.
I don't know. He's probably got an element of jam. Yeah, I had friends at the art school. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Corin went there, who now works at the Stand in Edinburgh. I don't know if you know her. Friend of the show.
Perhaps.
Yeah, and my friends lived in a place called Springfield, which
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
They lived in like a big flat that was like, well, not a flat, a big house. That'd be fucking expensive, even though it was dilapidated. It would be expensive if it was here.
Yeah.
But it was like 10 people in this house, so we'd always have parties there. It
Uh-huh.
was just like a fun HQ to have. And
Yeah.
just just fun.
Yeah. Because I remember when we were going there for a gig, and Ian was driving us, and he was like, "Oh, I lived around about here."
Yeah,
and it was
me.
like
I've done. Oh yeah, I was
houses.
in the car with you. the
And
three
I
of
was
us.
like, houses. The thought of living in a house as a student
Unthinkable, isn't it?
is mad. Here, maybe less so in Aberdeen, but I had just like a smaller flat, not even like a tenement flat. But it was just a wee flat that I lived in there. But yeah, a house is feels a bit mad. But then that's just also something to be said about smaller places. That places are less expensive,
yeah,
and the quality
rent
of
was
life.
Like £200.
Yeah, quality of life can be a lot
Yeah.
a lot better if you're just satisfied with the union, or
Yeah, I was very happy with my little world. Like, I had
you're
my
like, I'll go
friends and-
here or we'll go here.
Yeah, there's not many
Fail
options.
failing that, we'll go here.
Yeah.
But that's it won't
And we'll probably stay here.
yeah, and it'll be really shite if we do end up there, but that's it.
Yeah, and it was just like everything was so low stakes. You got skint Tuesdays, pound entry, pound drinks.
Uh-huh.
They're playing Pitbull. You're lashed
Yeah.
again, but you get chips and cheese and you go home, and I didn't. I was very happy with that
Yeah.
setup.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to, in the first episode, I was talking to Chris about him being in Ayr and him getting
Is that
dropped.
where he's from? Chris?
He's originally from
Sorry, dear listeners.
Not Hamilton. Oh my god!
I don't
Can't believe I
understand
forgot.
places
Had a
over
long conversation with him and forgot
here.
exactly.
Here to me just seems like the Kirkcaldy of the West. Is that fair?
I think so. Yeah. But I can't even remember which town he was before he moved to Hamilton and then Ayr. I mean, I'm trying to remember 4 different places that this guy's that this guy's lived. But he was talking about living in Ayr, but going like back to his mum and dad's house for dinner, like on a Sunday or something, and then them taking him back, driving him back to Ayr to his flat that he lived in. Him like getting out of the car, and then as like his mates coming out of the building, he definitely didn't say this, but I'm romanticizing his memory. His mates coming out of the flat and being like, "Oh hey, we're off to go see Halloween at the cinema, like the new Halloween remake." And he was like, "Oh brilliant! Like I'll drop off my watch here, and then I'm going
Just
to see."
like, what more
And
do
he's
you
like,
want?
"I think this is the happiest I will ever be."
Yeah, like this is as
Like,
complicated as life needs
yeah,
to be.
yeah.
And just like I've got my friends, my family love me, and
Yeah.
you know it's
I've the
just had a
most
roast dinner.
I've got the most access to stuff. I've got the most love, least responsibility, and the most access in my life that I will ever that I have had so far, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty sweet. it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it feels this is not going to make any sense, and it's only just because I read something about this recently, I think. But like, remember when the internet used to be really fun, and there was loads of websites, and you could fuck around, but it's just not like that anymore.
Yeah,
You don't really go on websites now. It's all been like, because the way Google works now and ads and
not
fucking-
together.
Sorry, what?
Me and you would go on
Nah, just browse of an afternoon.
Go on, mini
Just
clip.
open a tab, just see, yeah, E-bombs world,
see where
mushroom.
see where it takes us. Yeah.
But that's how uni in that period of my life feels to me. Is like it's just like it's fun and light, and there's lots of new fun stuff going on. Whereas adult life is just like you're really in the weeds of it. And it's
Yeah.
complicated, and
Yeah.
you know.
I only have I've been to the Braes, and
Loads of good pubs on Perth Road.
yeah, I didn't go to the Hunter S. Was the Hunter S. Thompson?
Hunter
or
S.
was that-
Thompson is another venue that they. The problem is they've all changed names. It's also like there's the George Orwell as well. There's a lot of literary. I think that's still going. The George, that was a nice pub.
That's the
They run
best
a gig.
pub
I've
in-
gigged in Hunter S. Thompson.
All right, because you got asked it. You were part of a thing that was like best pubs in Glasgow, and
Is
then
that
you had
the
to
lowest
make
thing?
recommendations. And then, but the best. What would you say the best pub in Dundee is? Considering that you were talking about early pub.
Well, the thing is, I've not fucking
memories.
drank there for years, and when I did, I was a student, so you kind of often
Yeah.
go into shite places.
Yeah.
There's a place called Art Bar near the art school that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. George Orwell was cool. We used to like going there. We were in like 4th year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say that.
Would you have been at Dundee Uni in 2014?
Yes.
I had DJ'd at the reading rooms in
Did you really?
2014. Yeah.
There's
was-
like a 0.1% chance I was there.
Oh yeah.
I have been there.
Yeah.
I don't remember clocking the DJ.
Yeah. I do remember
But
people.
it's not like I wasn't going there often. That was a bit above my pay grade because I wasn't a big drugs guy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, was I? I was
crazy
working.
days. Well, you're at work, yeah. Professional.
But yeah, that's I would like to, I'm like I would like to know more about. I would like to know Dundee more, but I'm just like, there's no way that I can get back to a stage that you're talking about where it would be
Intoxicated.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
intoxicating.
you
yeah,
can't reverse engineer.
Yeah,
that. It has
exactly.
to happen at
Yeah.
a certain point.
unless you sort of unless I get with another 20 years.
I thought you were
maybe
going to say unless I get with a 20-year-old. See it through their eyes.
Here's the plan.
Nathan for you style.
Here's the plan.
I
Fall in love-
torch my relationship, lose my house, run off with a young one in order to appreciate Dundee, the city of discovery.
Crazy enough that it just might work.
I remember seeing Johnny Marr at Fat Sam's in Dundee,
Oh wow.
and I remember him saying, "Yeah, I'd be more. How do you do Johnny Marr? I can't do Mancunian.
What did he?
He's just so taciturn.
don't ever know what that means. Who has a lyric that is that says has the word Taciturn in it? Oh, I think
Dunno.
it's Phantom
I
Planet.
remember him going,
So-
yeah, we're walking around your town. It's cool, man. I remember thinking, yeah, it is, man.
Johnny Marr thinks it's cool.
Johnny Marr thinks Dundee's
Marr,
cool. That's
one
good
of the
enough for
coolest
me.
people,
Famously.
thinks it's cool.
He is cool, I like him.
That
but
is very cool.
yeah, you got a good glasses shop. I think it's called Specs Pistols. Could be wrong.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
You're like, wow, Johnny Marr, the
Johnny Marr.
coolest guy. He just said my town's cool. Yeah, good glasses shop. You're like, he's old.
Yeah,
Less cool.
he's very much Six Music Dad now.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing. That's the sort of thing I look for. A cool glass shop. Not when I was 18. What was he doing? Playing a solo gig,
Solo
DJing.
gig, yeah.
All
Solo
right.
gig.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was good.
You singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing though, because as much as we hate Morrissey, it's like it is not the same.
sure.
He'll well play the Odd Smith song.
The Odd Smiths.
Yeah, he'll play like How Soon Is Now or whatever, but
Yeah.
you know, it's not the same.
Yeah. I hate the Smiths. I've
Do you?
always hated them. Yeah.
Do you?
But
well,
I
this is the thing. Cause
Recently watched a film that has the whole soundtrack is the Smiths,
is it?
and I was like, oh, I'll listen.
They've got
to
some
it.
great songs.
They do. Yeah. They do.
Because you also hate Louis Theroux. So is your rule that
I
you
don't
hate
like his
things
shtick.
that you look like you would like?
No, because I do like some stuff that I look like I would like. But also, my most recent one of that, I think maybe these are the three big things that I don't like. Probably the first was the Smiths. Next Talking Next
Talking
Louis Theroux, and then now it's Talking Heads.
I like
My
all those things.
my
I'm not
gripes.
crazy about Louis Theroux. He's
No,
kind of.
sure.
I hate anything where there's like a cult of personality. Why are like young women going about with T-shirts with Louis Theroux and I'm like, what are you doing? It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't
Although
get that.
it's a bit like, it's a bit like you when you're talking about, this town was shit when I was growing up with it, and then I've moved, and now they've done it up. I'm like,
Yeah.
where was all the girls going crazy for weird
Yeah, for
guys with
cunts like-
specs
like this, yeah.
when I was growing
Would have
up?
killed for that.
Yeah, now can't do
Yeah.
anything. Can't do anything with that.
Can he do right for doing wrong?
I've got what? Oh, because I've been to a place that is definitely part of your uni days, which is Clark's, which we've been to together.
Oh yeah, Clarky's
Yeah.
24-hour bakery.
I feel like-
Sensational.
I feel like that's not a deep cut, but that's a lived experience Dundee place.
That is, yeah, that's for the real heads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 24-hour bakery in Dundee. We'd often go there after a night out.
And that to me is odd because it's city, but it's not big enough city because it's in an industrial estate.
Yeah, it's an industrial estate, but one you can walk to,
Which is
like Alan Partridge up the motorway.
yeah, which doesn't scream I'm going to uni in the big city. That I'm walking to a
No.
bakery in an industrial estate.
Yeah.
You're like you got everything for a big night out, fags,
I don't
Johnny's, high vis.
I don't think at Harvard they're doing that, do
Yeah.
they? Yeah, no, I mean, it's brilliant now. No, we used to go there after nights out. You go there lashed, but also it just was a bit of a walk, and you know what it's like, especially when you're pissed.
Yeah.
So you'd go somewhere shite nearby a lot of the time,
Yeah.
or you'd get food at the union or whatever. But as a treat, it was yeah. There should be more 24-hour bakeries.
There used to be
There's one in Leith.
we used to go to the 24-hour bakery that was next to our that was on Thistle Street, which was parallel to Rose Street as they often are. And we
I've
lived
never
on
thought of that before. In Edinburgh, that's true.
yeah, and it's true in Aberdeen as well. And we lived on Rose Street, and we would go to the 24-hour baker and get pies and stuff like that. And I remember my mate Thomas once got a cheeseburger pasty, which was a cheeseburger like in a pasty,
Fantastic.
and he was really ill. I don't know if it was like a bad hangover that was compounded by the pasty, or not. But
I am sounding like Alan Partridge now in the new book Big Beacon, which I played you an excerpt from earlier because I've been enjoying it so much. There's a chapter in it where he says, I think the best way to find out about a culture is through their food. And then he lists food from this place in Kent that he's moved to and how he didn't fancy it, so he bought something from Sainsbury's instead. But the food is a real thing. Like wherever I've moved, there's like, oh, that's like my favourite cafe or whatever. Like, do you have
Yeah.
that? Like I've just got... Are you a big Melton John's guy?
No,
Have you
no.
been to Melton
I have
John's?
been to Melton John's.
For the listener, we're
several
in Govan,
times.
and there's a place called Melton John's around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend Ben, friend of the show,
Lives
used to live
very
close.
V
to,
close.
He's moved now.
Oh, he's moved.
Yeah, he's moved. He's in Shawlands now.
Oh no, I'm just seeing so many
Govan's
people
crazy.
come.
I'm assuming this has come up, but like your gym here is a church.
Yes,
Love that.
that has not
Brilliant.
come up. But yeah, the church. The church.
You basically live in the grounds of a hospital. Your gym is a church, and the only cafe is called Melton John's. This is like God's country.
Yeah, it is. It is a bit mad, and it could do with a light touch of gentrification.
A
just,
sprinkling.
just something.
No need to oust people.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Just
we're not looking
a
to
nice
oust
coffee.
people or price somebody out. Not even an iced coffee. Just
Nice.
no, did you?
A nice coffee.
Right. Well,
Is
don't
that the joke you're about to make?
don't get too ahead of yourself. Yeah, just somewhere to sit. I mean, you can't even sit down in Melton
Somewhere
John's.
for kids to hang out.
A pub
I have
for
sat
kids.
outside Melton John's like it's the Riviera on that little bit next to the bin,
Yeah,
waiting for a hospital appointment. That's grim.
that is grim. But yeah,
yeah. There was a cafe. It's long gone now, but when I lived in Dundee, there was a cafe called Cafe Roddy, a Turkish place that just like I think about it still. So I just loved it so much. It was
Nice.
cheap, big wrap with like creamy chicken and stuff with chips. Just happy. you know,
Yeah,
just
I'm
like
try- I'm
listen to a podcast, eat that, or go with your mates. and-
yeah. I think I'm trying to think of. There's a few places like that in Aberdeen that I would go to, but yeah, little cafes like that. I mean, I was even thinking about that when I was when I was in town the other day in Glasgow. That I was like, I've lived in Glasgow long enough to be nostalgic for the Trans Euro Cafe.
Oh, I
The
don't know
Trans
that
Euro
one.
Cafe.
Where was that?
It was in like near like Trongate.
Okay.
That was like a wee greasy spoon sort of cafe.
You miss them when they're gone.
Yeah, you do.
You really do.
Yeah, you do. So what is that?
So
Is
say
a question.
Pars.
Yeah, who are the Pars?
Pars is the nickname for Dunfermline Athletic Football Club, my team of choice. I support them because my family are originally from Dunfermline, like my granddad's generation, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this is funny to me. My granddad and my granny lived in Dunfermline. I remember, so they're both dead now, but I remember asking my gran a few years ago, I was just trying, I don't know why, but I was like, how much did you buy your house for growing up? Just because you know how that's always a thing in the news, like, you know,
Yeah.
they bought it for a pound. They just swapped houses with someone. Money was never exchanged. They lived in a council house in Dunfermline. They wanted to move to Burnt Island. Some people in Burnt Island wanted to do the opposite. Let's just switch. I'd never heard of that before.
I've never ever heard of that.
Yeah, easy peasy.
That is mad. Like, yeah, 1 for 1.
Yeah, it's like,
with
yeah,
houses.
happy.
Why complicate? Why?
Yeah.
Why keep
And then I told my
lawyers out of
sister
it?
this
Nobody's
yesterday.
profiting off. Nobody else is profiting off of that.
Why do we need to even tell anyone?
Yeah,
I like that. We need a bit more of that. do
a
you know what
bit
I mean?
more of
bit more of
swapping
that.
stuff. Yeah,
Bit less of these, flipping these houses. And
yeah,
selling
absolutely. Yeah, I'd be like, what, looking around, and you'd be like, yeah, it's a fair swap.
them. Yeah, that's about the same. Fuck it.
Yeah, what's your neighbour like? A cunt. Ours is a cunt too.
Well, enjoy it. And then my sister was like, I'm pretty sure Nan and Grandpa did that as well. I was like, what?
Hey,
Because it's something to do with, the shipyard. They owned houses and,
right.
kind of thing.
Yeah, that's mad.
But anyway.
So
So the Pars are Dunfermline and I support them. I'm a half-arsed fan, but I do support them. And our fierce rivals, Wraith Rovers. Soap Dodgers. They didn't work. The funny thing is, because they're Starks Park.
there's
San
loads of people that
Starco.
don't wash. There's
That's
loads
true,
of people
and they
that
all support Wraith Rovers.
if the rumours about different football teams are to be believed, it's
I
almost
love
like
that. It's
nobody's
harmless, isn't it? That's
It's
great.
nobody. Yeah, they don't wash.
It's such a funny thing to say. Starks Park Wraith Rovers are rivals. That was like literally next door to my school. Like the train track is between. If you're on the train, you're like, big school looks like a boat. Starks Park. So most of my friends at school were Wraith Rovers fans,
Mm-hmm.
but me and my friend Ben were Dunfermline fans. because he is also from the ancient capital originally.
Of-
Dunfermline, Scotland's newest city, the ancient capital of Scotland, as we always call it.
What is
Used to
that?
be the capital. Dunfermline
Did it?
used to be the capital of Scotland, yeah. And back when
Oh,
we
maybe
buck our
I-
ideas up, it will become the capital again. So.
How do I not know that? Or maybe I did know that.
It's just the kind of thing me and Ben say. I mean, people aren't normally talking about it.
But yeah, but I did know that Edinburgh hasn't always been the capital city.
It's funny because like my family are from originally, but it's not like I've ever spent loads of time in Dunfermline really.
Right.
We'd go to the movies there because that's
Uh-huh.
where the cinema was. Go to
Uh-huh.
the Odeon,
Uh-huh.
maybe tie on at the Hollywood Bowl, get a McDonald's.
I hate to ask the question again, but where is Carnegie Hall again?
Dunfermline.
Oh, Dunfermline. So
As is the Alhambra.
right, okay. Yeah.
They've got 2 theatres.
It's amazing that I ever made it to that gig.
Andrew Carnegie.
Yes.
Andrew Carnegie from Dunfermline. Adam Smith from Kirkcaldy. Need I say more
Hell of a
about
part-
modern
yeah.
capitalism?
Yeah,
We invented it.
Wonderful part of the world.
Yeah.
So yes, because I've just seen you post about the
The Pars.
Pars.
Yeah. Come on, you
And I've
Pars.
been like, all right. So I only have 2 more questions, which are just like little.
I thought it said
stock-
Paris, and you're not so well. I've been
So tell us about your time
in Paris.
living
under the watchful eye of Mickey and the gang.
You were part of. You were there with Hemingway and everybody.
Yeah, F. Scott Fitzgerald,
yeah.
Gertrude Stein, me and Ben.
Yeah. So, what is and it could be complimentary or it could be critical. What is a like home truth about Burnt Island or Kirkcaldy or Dundee that you would? The other question that's maybe easier is like, what's a home comfort to you?
Being by the sea is a home comfort, definitely. I feel at home at the sea.
Yeah,
I like to hear the tides. I can feel when I've not been to the sea recently enough,
Yeah,
and it calls me home.
yeah,
And like literal home. I mean, this is such a basic answer, but like literally being in my family home is like I love that my mum and dad still live in the family home.
Yeah.
It's like I'm sure that day will come, but it'll be very sad
Yeah.
for me when they downsize or whatever. But like being there is just so comforting to the point where like
when they swap the house with when they swap
yeah,
houses
when they
with
swap
someone.
with some poor fucker in Dunfermline.
But yeah, just being in
The amount of times I just fall asleep because it's like wombic. Is that the word? Womb-like.
sure, yeah.
Because, you know, I doss around a lot, sure, but like I'm on the... I just feel like I'm on this hamster wheel all the time. Like I'm just working all the time. I'm gigging all the time. I'm writing. Whatever it is, I'm just constantly, or at least worrying about work. And when I sit home, I was, you know, on the couch and I've got a blanket on and the chase is on. Mum's got a chicken in the oven. It's just like body shuts down. You know, it's just like this is. I couldn't get a more comfortable situation.
You're safe.
I'm safe.
You're safe. Relax.
I'm surrounded by people who don't say it but do love me, and I'm
They
warm.
mean you no harm.
I'm warm and I'm safe and I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
No one can hurt me in here.
Yeah.
And so that's
That's-
home comfort
that's
certainly.
very
It's- and the
nice.
sea's just there. And it's lovely, you know. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So I love going home. But a home truth. I don't know. I feel like we are kind of. I think as a people we get in our own way a little. Like there are people that have achieved things, of course, but I think it's good and bad. I think it's you can't be sitting on a podcast where there's like hundreds of hours of content of me on podcasts online and then talk about how humble you are when your job is to go up and like have lights on you and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But I think as a general thing, I think Fifers are pretty humble, like quite a humble people,
Uh-huh.
which I think can be limiting in some ways in that kind of Scottish cringe way of kind of like, well, you know, that's for other people. But it's also like a positive thing of like, it's good to be humble. You know, it's like I would say in general they're quite just good normal people. You know,
Yeah.
you know, good folk.
Yeah. Who wash.
Well, some of them wash. Let's not get into that again.
But yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Like it can be. I think it's a double-edged sword. I don't know if you feel the same way about Aberdonians, but
No comment. I'm still figuring
Okay.
that out. I'll have a lot of ideas after tonight's gig. After I go back, it's just making me look forward to This conversation's making me look forward to a long weekend back up north.
Yeah. I just they're never there's never gonna be a building with like people make Kirkcaldy on it,
Yeah,
and I think that's good and bad.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
To sound like I'm repeating myself, but I think that's fine, and that's the majority. That's the majority of that's the majority of places.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's all that you could really ask for, and that's all that somebody could parents could really hope to give you is just a sort of normal.
Yeah, it's so normal.
Normal upbringing in a sort of normal place.
Like a nice upbringing in a nice house in a nice place, but also just normal, ordinary. You know, just like
Yeah, it's like
no struggle, but no glamour.
there's fuck all to do,
yeah.
but I'm not. It's not bad.
No,
it's
it's
not
great.
It's not a bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming on and talking
Thanks
about
for having me. I
Burnt
hope some
Island,
of that is usable.
Kirkcaldy,
And Dundee.
and Dundee. Do you have anything that you'd like to plug?
Well, these aren't plugs. I had some notes that I won't have got into very quickly. I think I did most of this. Used to have an outdoor pool.
You did.
The town of Burntisland.
Ah, right, okay.
Before I was young, but my mum and dad speak about it in quite romantic ways of like, you know,
Like Guru.
like it'd be fucking class. I'd love to have an outdoor
Yeah.
pool. Also.
Wow. So that was because there's only two. There's Guruk and Stonehaven, and
Yeah.
then it would have been
Yeah,
Burnt Island.
I would love that, but hey.
No. A Lido.
There was
that's what
there
English
was a
people call it.
hovercraft between Kirkcaldy and Edinburgh, and they keep talking about bringing it back. They kept having trials when I was a kid. Where it's like you can get the hovercraft from Kirkcaldy Prom to Edinburgh.
Over
Does
the
that not-
water.
Yeah, how often do you hear hovercrafts? Never.
No.
Bring the hovercraft back, man.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
yeah. That was like when. That's like when you, one time left here early in the morning, and then you're like looking at Google Maps how to get back,
Yeah.
and Google Maps tells you to take the
Take
ferry.
the fucking ferry. I'm pissed. It's like 4 a.m. I've got to get a ferry over the Clyde. Why would it tell me to do
off-season,
that? I'm
yeah.
like standing at the port looking around like, what?
Yeah, Google Maps should know what month it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
read the room, Google Maps.
Yeah.
That was it, really. Oh, and I want to tip my cap quickly to Sammy the Seal, who was a local legend during lockdown. The seal that would come to the docks, and we'd go down. People would come out to wave at Sammy and throw food for him, and he was a real showman. But sadly, they've now locked off the docks, so you can't get down there, which I think is everything that's wrong with this country in the modern world. You're not allowed to have any joy anymore.
Yeah.
'Cause they're
Nature is
worried they're gonna
healing,
fall in or whatever.
and health and safety has gone mad.
Nature's healing and health and safety officers are bailing. Do I have anything to plug? I've got a stand-up special on YouTube.
Of course, and everybody should
The
watch
Piece,
that.
you should watch that.
Yeah.
Stand-up.
It's great.
You should watch
It's
John's
such
as
a
well.
Excellent show. Thank you. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But the piece is fantastic. And you've got the Some Laugh podcast.
Some Laugh
obviously.
podcast.
And
you
there's
can
all the
listen to
What's the
that.
Scripts. The old What's the Scripts are
They're
up
still
there,
available.
which
What's the
are
Script? Where me and Stephen Buchanan
gems.
guess the plots of films we've not seen. They're
Yeah.
a lot of fun. We did actually record some new ones, but we've not put them out. We've not. Well, we basically never got around to actually watching the films and doing them properly. But we've got like new part ones
Yeah.
that are just like
Lots of
on
new
an
part
SD
ones.
card from like 4 months ago. I've still not watched Oppenheimer. That's how long it's not been in the cinema for like 3 months. Oh man,
That's ambitious. What do you
Yeah.
think will happen?
Yeah, obviously we don't know fucking anything about it either. Yes, so you can watch my stand-up special on YouTube if you like. You can follow me online, Instagram, Stuart McPherson _. Thanks very
Brilliant.
much for having me, John.
No, thank you
Pleasure.
thank you so much for coming on.
The site grew steadily through the post-war years, and the BAM became somewhat of a big family.
When I started, it was very difficult to get a job there. You had to know him, we knew somebody else, you know, and that was about the size of it. And of course, myself, who was an incomer to Burntisland, as I belonged to Felma, which is 12 miles further up the road, was unheard of. You had to be more or less related to someone that was in the plant. But unknown to them, I was related to somebody who was in the plant, but they didn't know it because we didn't let it be known, you know. But everybody knew everybody.